Test 1 2, test 1 2. Oh, we're here, we're so back. All right, let me get my chat box set up. How is everyone doing today? We've been live for 30 seconds. Ooh. All right, let me get some music going. You know what we're doing today based on that description. If you don't know what Rulesguru, excuse me, if you don't know what Rulesguru is, it is a website that tests your magic knowledge or just asks you random rules questions about magic. And as the person who makes the most judges calls, other than the organizer at my LGS, everyone hoards me with questions all the time, and I'm here to help you. I am here to help, but I can only help you if I know the rules myself, right? So I am so here. I'm so here, and we're going to see if I can get any of these correct today. All right. Got the music going? My volume low? All right, maybe not the right vibe. We want some like upbeat kind of music, right? All right. Gotta hide one of my chat boxes. Oops. We can move my webcam and chat box up a little bit. A little bit larger. This is technically a just chatting stream, right? Okay, so they have given us a low ball to start, all right? Can you get a Dryad Arbor off of Ancient Stirrings? No, you cannot. Dryad Arbor is a green card denoted by the green dot. Andy has restarted the game with a Karn Liberator that exiles Tireless Tracker. Andy chooses to begin the restart of the game with the Gemstone Caverns on the battlefield. Does Tireless Tracker trigger? Karn says restart the game, leaving in exile all non-aura permanent cards exiled with Karn liberated. Then put those cards onto the battlefield under your control. So when you restart the game, the turn order is still the same turn order, I believe. So then the question is, so if Andy chooses to begin to restart a game with a Gemstone Caverns on the battlefield, they are going second. Karn Liberated doesn't restart the game with you as like the first player in it. Is this a trick question? Is that what I'm looking at? I've noticed there's some like trick questions on here. There's some like really weird trick questions on here. Anyways, what I would say is, if the Tireless Tracker and Gemstone Caverns hit the battlefield at the same time, you will investigate. All right. This can't happen as described. Andy is taking the first turn. It was a fucking trick question. All right. And then this is what I was wrong about. If it were Nico instead, the answer would be no. Cards exiled with Karn are put onto the battlefield. Oh, I see. Because of this clause then. All right, so we have one wrong today. Stony Silence. You absolutely can't activate Paradise Mantle. It's an artifact. Equip is an activated ability. Controls Dryad Arbor, enchanted by Utopia Sprawl. Controls a Damping Sphere. If Aryun taps the Dryad Arbor for mana, how much mana is produced? Let's look at this Utopia Sprawl. Utopia says whenever is a triggered ability, Dryad Arbor will tap for 1 mana. Utopia Sprawl will trigger, adding 1 extra green. It only affects the permanent being tapped for more than 1 mana, and Dryad Arbor only adds 1 mana. Snapcaster Mage and Murderous Cut. Avery uses Snapcaster Mage to give Murderous Cut flashback. Can they delve? They absolutely can delve that cost. Delve is a static ability that is active when the card is on the stack. Yes, flashback is an alternative cost, but delve is simply a different way of paying the mana costs. After the total cost of the spell has been determined, Avery can then exile cards from their graveyard instead of paying the mana cost for the spell. Kind of. I mean, you still have to pay that black pit. So I would say that answer is a little misleading. Nico has Force of Negation in their graveyard, which has flashback thanks to Snapcaster Mage. Can they flash it back without paying the mana cost? The answer is absolutely not. The flashback cost is equal to its mana cost. You cannot pay two alternate casting costs at the same time. Yep, the ability to avoid paying the mana cost and alternative cost, same as flashback. When casting a spell, only one alternative cost can be chosen. So I even gave you the long, winding, full answer. Are you happy? Ainsley casts Lightning Bolt, targeting Natalie. Before that, resolves. Natalie taps their snow-covered forest for mana. Can Ainsley cast another spell before Lightning Bolt resolves? Now, I'm not quite sure why this is happening. What has happened here is when Natalie had priority, they activated a mana ability. So what Natalie has done is said, yeah, we can have one more round of priority on this Lightning Bolt. So then Ainsley having priority again, Lightning Bolt on the stack, mana ability has resolved. Ainsley could cast another Ainsley could cast another spell before Lightning Bolt. Aiden would like to cast Metallic Rebuke targeting itself. No. A spell on the stack can never target itself. No, a spell on the stack is never a legal target for itself. Damn, I almost got it word for word. I will say I saw an insanely similar one to that last night. Audrey cast Strike It Rich. Does Nathaniel have a chance to exile it with Soul Guide Lantern before Audrey can cast it again for its flashback cost? Now, what would need to happen is Audrey casts it right in a row. Because Strike It Rich is a sorcery, when Audrey casts it for the first time, it's on the stack. Once it resolves, it is in the graveyard. So then Audrey, if they cast it right now, the spell is going to go onto the stack, not stay in the graveyard as it attempts to resolve, okay? So Audrey would need to take one game action between the Strike It Rich and the Soul Guide Lantern would come down. Because with that one extra game action, then the Soul Guide Lantern can be activated in response. Yep. No, after Strike It Rich resolves, Audrey has priority. Damn, I should have used priority in my answer. That's what I should have said. For future reference. Another question. Emperor Bones and Revitalizing Repass. I know what the question is. It's Adapt. Adapt has an if clause in it. Adapt says, if this creature has no 1/1 counters on it, then you put a 1/1 counter. Okay, so let's read the question actually. Amalia controls Emperor Bones with no counters on it and activates its Adapt ability. Before that resolves, Amalia casts, wow, Benedictus, casts Revitalizing Repass, targeting it. Yeah, the adaptability fizzles, and it doesn't even get any counters on it. Yep, it sure was on the stack though. But it's the, isn't it interceding if in the adapt rules? Oh my god, I can hover over these rules. Nice. Mox Opal and Pithing Needle, okay? Aubrey controls a Mox Opal and a Pithing Needle. Aubrey casts another Mox Opal. Mox Opals are legendary. So when you have 2 legendary permanents on the battlefield, one of them dies. They are not sacrificed. They do not do anything else. They die. The definition of dying in Magic is to put into the graveyard from the battlefield. You will note on some new cards, they've been actually templated to say whenever a creature or artifact dies. And so I would say that's like a little bit of a new templating. It reads a lot more cleanly, even though an artifact dying might not be the most intuitive thing. So you're going to lose one of your legendaries as a state-based action. You will not be able to tap it for mana. No, you're not allowed to activate a mana abilities at any time they have priority or right before the game requires any mana payment. Putting Mox Opal into the graveyard is a state-based action. I got that. Perform before any player receives priority. Desperate Ritual. I got this one last night. No, you cannot use that mana because it hasn't resolved yet. Splicing is like an additional cost. Is that the right phrasing? First you choose whether they are splicing, then pay its cost. Splice. Okay, so what this is actually even more part of is you announce the spell. You announce whatever additional costs you are paying. And then once that is on the stack, you actually pay the cost. The Desperate Ritual is like basically on the stack as you attempt to pay its extra cost. Because you do them sequentially, even doesn't use the stat. Another question. Ariel casts Detectives Phoenix targeting Urza. So... Oh, I'm confused because when you bestow it, it has the same name. So this is being bestowed from the graveyard. Not from the graveyard. It could be bestowed from either zone. Okay? From really any zone, actually. Because you could bestow it from exile if you had the permission. Cast Detectives Phoenix targeting Urza Lord High Artificer. In response, Nico resolves a murderous cut, destroying Urza Lord High Artificer. Can Detectives Phoenix be countered by a Force of Negation? Yes, it's an enchantment on the stack when it is a bestow spell. It's an aura enchantment on the stack. So what? I've gotten like one wrong so far. I got this one yesterday. Okay. Aliana controls Memnite and attacks Nolan's Teferi. Before damage is out, Nolan activates Claws of Gex, sacrificing Teferi. Does Memnite deal damage? No. An attacking creature that is unblocked, an attacking creature that has lost, I don't want to say target. Target's not the right word. An attacking creature that has lost the thing that is attacking deals no damage. When combat damage would be assigned, a creature that is not currently attacking. So it's actually not considered attacking anymore. My question is, I actually don't know if that means it's like removed from combat. No. Okay. That wording was a little bit misleading. Because it says if it isn't currently attacking anything. All right. I misread this, okay? The anything part of this means the thing it is attacking, okay? So I was right anyways. Avery casts Lightning Bolt, targeting Nala. As it resolves, can Avery choose to deal the damage to Nala's Kaya's? No. You chose your target. You've dug your own grave. All right. Nicholas controls Teferi. Can Aspen class their Blazing Root Wallet for its madness cost during their main phase when they discard it? No. Madness gives selective permissions, and it doesn't interact with that. Or let me rephrase that. Okay. Madness gives you a selective permission to cast a spell as part of the resolution of a triggered ability. Okay? So then, Blazing Root Wall will go into exile. If it said until end of turn you may cast it, you could do that. But with this madness cost, it's part of the resolution of this ability. Oh shit, wait, I gotta add my second video capture. Too funny for me not to. Alright, we make myself really small. Alright, I want to make sure that my audience knows when I'm staring at chat. Alright. We've been fucking with this a bit. Oh, and I'm too low. Alright. No, casting card for its madness cost is part of the resolving the madness trigger. All right, I even got the phrasing of it right. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. Crashing Footballs. Alaya removes the last time counter from Crashing Footballs and casts it. Can they attack with the Rhino tokens this turn? No, they cannot. That's why Violent Outburst was banned. Okay. Now, if this was a creature spell, the change to suspend rules is that when a creature spell comes off of suspend, it gains haste. That is the rules question. That's like the rules change relatively recently. Yep. Only creature spells gain haste. I don't know if anything else really could gain haste for whatever reason, but I think only creatures can have haste. I would have to learn that. That's one I don't know. Ariel casts Seasoned Pyromancer and has two other cards in hand, one of which is a land. Nehemia controls Rest in Peace. How many tokens are created? Seasoned Pyromancer only cares about the card types of the discarded cards. When we say discard, okay? Okay. When we say discard, we're talking about the articulation of a zone change. We're talking about the attempted zone change from the hand to the graveyard, okay? Now, discard does not care if it actually makes it to the graveyard. So they're going to make one token. Urborg and Spymaster's Vault. Nico controls Urborg. Alexa controls no lands and plays Spymaster's Vault. Does it enter tapped or untapped? It is a replacement effect. This is a replacement effect. This is the kind of replacement effect that, quote, sees ahead in time. So this is one I don't know. My gut instinct is that this would actually enter tap. Oh, and I'm correct. The game determines how the replacement effect apply before the event question occurs. Yeah, this is the one that sees ahead in time. I'm gonna write that down. 614. 614. 614 replacement effects that the forward in time. 614.4. Okay. What is this? What are those? All right, Leyline of the Guild Pact. All right, I have to read the situation. I'm gonna say this is a pretty contrived situation. Whether that's true or not, whatever. All right, Annabelle controls Leyline of the Guild Pact and casts Blood Moon. What are the characteristics of Snow-Covered Waste, Bee and Coast, Dryad Arbor, and Waste? Okay. Okay. Each non-land permanent you control is all colors. We're only talking about lands. We can throw that out. We can throw out the first line of label. Lands you control are every basic land type in addition to their other types. So, Snow-Covered Wastes is a basic plains, island, etc. land. Wastes is a basic everything land. Dryad Arbor is a 1/1 mountain with all abilities. Bee and Coast is a mountain that has all abilities. Snow-Covered Waste and Waste have all basic land types, plains, island, and forest. Leyline of the Guild Pact doesn't change super types, which is basic and snow. And Blood Moon affects non-basic land. Bee and Coast has subtype mountain. There are no dependency between Leyline and Blood Moon, so we apply the type changing effects in timestamp order. Okay, so I got this one wrong. And this is a layers question, so it's expected that I get these ones wrong. All right. Okay, so an effect sets a land's subtype. But that's it, but it says in addition. Ah, I see. So these are replacement effects. Okay. But as mentioned, it's a layers question. That's my big weakness. Okay, Ariel casts Xenagos, God of Revel. Can Natalie counter it with Stubborn Denial? Okay. Counter target non-creature spell. On the stack, Xenagos is a creature, even if you don't have Devotion. Yep. The ability stops it from being a creature is only effective on the stack. Flare of Denial. You may sacrifice a non-token blue creature. Okay, sorry. Can Natalie cast Flare of Denial targeting Ainsley's Flage that is escaping from the graveyard? Yeah, I don't see any reason why not. Escape is just an alternate casting cost from your graveyard. Yep. Escape is an alternative cost. Yeah, it's just a spell on the stack. I don't know what to tell you. Adriel cast Thoughtseize targeting Nevea. In response, Nevea casts their last card, and when Thoughtseize resolve, Nevea has 0 cards in hand. Does Adriel lose 2 life? Yes, the spell will try to do everything it can. So even though they have no cards in hand, this is still going to resolve like normal. But you just can't choose the non-land. You can't do that kind of stuff. Yes, because Nevea was a legal target and will do as much as possible. I'm starting to get this wording down too on some of these. Aelin activates Karn the Great Creator to make Nicholas's Cranial Plate an artifact creature, which was equipped to Dryad Arbor. Cranial plating is going to become a creature. A creature cannot be equipped to another creature, okay? If we do that. Cranial plating will become an equipment. Artifact creature will become unattached as a state-based action, okay? No surprises there, really. Greetings to anyone just joining us. This is hype. We got 13 viewers. Hello. Sunken Citadel. Audrey would like to choose colorless for Sunken Citadel. Can they? No, colorless is not a color. Whoa, look at that. Hang on, we got 1-for-1 wording. I'm kind of proud of that. Oh, and this is my theme song on, right? All right. Nehemia controls Ruin Crab. Ari casts Beast Within targeting Ruin Crab. In response, Nehemia casts Ephemerate targeting Ruin Crab. After everything has resolved, is Ruin Crab on the battlefield. Okay, so Nehemia has the Ruin Crab. Ari's trying to blow it up. So let's resolve it backwards. Ephemerate targets Ruin Crab, blinking Ruin Crab, okay? This Ruin Crab is a new object. Beast Within has lost its target now and will not resolve at all. You will not get a 3/3. Is there anything else? When Ephemerate resolves and returns Ruin Crab to the battlefield, it becomes a completely new object that's unrelated to the old one. When Beast Within tries to resolve, its target doesn't exist anymore, so it's just put into the graveyard. Another one. Another one. All right. Athena controls Rao Monsoon Mage and casts Savine's Reclamation for its flashback cost. Will Rao Monsoon Mage decrease the cost they have to pay? Yes. Because just because we're flashing it back does not make it not an instant or sorcery spell on the stack. Rao's static ability affects the cost of the spell when we announce it. And then as we pay it, it's reduced by 1. Not sure what's up, but we have 18 viewers. Don't know where that number's coming from. Fantastic. Another question. Seems to be a bug. I'm not seeing any viewers on Twitch. Just want someone to see me shred these questions, you know? All right, let's keep going. Alex controls Elish Norn, Mother Machines, and Omnath. Locus of Creation plays a land. After all triggers have resolved, how much life will they have gained? Will they have any mana? They'll gain 4 life. They'll add 4 mana. No, you do not gain 8 life. No, you do not gain 8 mana. Gain 4 life, have 4 mana. It's because Omnath's ability is contingent on the number of times it has resolved. Axel controls Magus of the Moon, enchanted with Unable to Scream. Is Axel's Teleria West a mountain? It should not be a mountain. Unless there's a time stamp thing I don't know. Which is certainly possible. Yes. Okay, so continuous effects are applied in a specific order. And type changing effects. All right, it's a layers question. We have found my weakness. Layers questions. All right. I know what we got to listen to. Change over the music just a little bit. Really specific song I want to listen to as I go to the wrong one. Yeah, this is fine. All right, another question. So we've missed 3 layers questions at the end of the day. That's all right. Greetings to anyone just joining us. We're having a blast. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. All right. Nico controls Striped River Winder. Allison casts Mockingbird. Can they have it enter the battlefield as a copy of Striped River Winder? It is hexproof. Mockingbird has a replacement effect that modifies the way it enters the battlefield. It does not target. Now, Mockingbird would need to be cast for 7 total mana. X would need to equal 6. Mockingbird cares about the amount of mana you spent on Mockingbird. Yep. Hexproof prevents the targeting, but Mockingbird doesn't target anything. Magic is a very literal game. If it doesn't say target, it doesn't target. Karn liberated Disciple of Freyalise, Garden of Freyalise. Ashley controls Karn liberated and exiles Disciple of Freyalise from Natalie's hand. Later, Ashley activates Karn's -14 ability, restarting the game. And they put Disciple of Freyalise onto the battlefield on its back face, Garden of Freyalise. No, like when you do that with Karn, it's just going to come back as is. Yep, front face up unless otherwise specified. Okay, let me reread this phrasing just so I can memorize it. Okay. No, permanents enter the battlefield with their front face up unless otherwise specified. I'm going to say it one more time. Permanents enter the battlefield with their front face up unless other specified. Modal double face cards can only be put on their back face when being cast or played as a land. Makes sense. Can Aelin imprint Jawari Disruption on Isochron Scepter? If so, can they play the other side? No, imprint, you have to exile the card. So then the Jawari Disruption is said to be exiled underneath Isochron Scepter. It's like exiled with Isochron Scepter. So yeah, you can tap Isochron to cast Jawari Disruption, but as for you can't like cast the just Jawari Disruption from exile, and you can't really interact with the card itself. Furthermore, Isochron even copies the exiled card, so the exiled card isn't going to change zones or anything. Isochron's pretty well set up in that way. They can imprint it, but can't play the back face. Portable Hole in Urza Saga. Can Ashley choose to find Portable Hole with Urza Saga 3rd chapter ability? No, you cannot. Urza Saga is unique because it has mana cost 0 or 1. It does not say mana value 0 or 1. Portable Hole has a mana cost of 1 white, and it has a mana value of 1. Urza Saga and Darksteel Citadel. Annika's resolving. No, you can't find Darksteel Citadel. I just told you. I just told you the answer. What do you want from me? Urza Saga, and it has 2 lore counters. All right. This is now the Urza Saga show, okay? All right. It's the Urza Saga show. This is a hilarious song to be on the playlist. All right. And controls Urza Saga has 2 lore counters on it. Yes. Urza Saga has both abilities at this time. Ragavan. In a commander game, Aubrey casts Ragavan Nimble Pilferer with dash from the command zone, which is the 2nd time it's been cast this game. Do they have to pay the extra 2? What happens to it at the end of the turn? Okay, so dash is an alternative casting cost. Dash does not care what zone it is being cast from. Yes, you have to pay the additional 2, and it will return to your hand at the beginning of next end step. Now, when it returns to your hand as a state-based action, you can put it back in the command zone. Audrey does have to pay it, because it's the commander tax. When the delayed trigger resolves, Aubrey can choose to return Ragavan Nimble Pilferer to the command zone or to their hand. More specifically, as a state-based action. Excuse me, it's not accurate, Ina. Territorial Kavu. Abraham attacks with Territorial Kavu. There are no cards in any player's graveyard. Can Abraham choose to use the 2nd mode of Territorial Kavu's triggered ability? You cannot. Okay, so the 2nd mode of it would require you to have a target. And furthermore, okay, so the choose one ability, can you choose the 2nd mode though? So when you choose a mode, it's sort of like choosing a mode when you declare a spell. You have to declare what you're targeting with it. So I don't think you can. All right, so you could just choose 0 targets for it. Oh, I know what I did wrong on this one. Damn. You know, you can't get 36 right in a row. You have to get smited at some point. Urza Saga and Magus of the Moon. Alright, this was the rules change. Urza Saga is going to have both of its first two abilities. It used to be that the Saga would lose the counters and just get killed off. It would just die, go right to the graveyard. Yes. So it has the ability to tap for generic and make constructs, and it is a melon. Oh yeah, and it won't sacrifice. The rules change. Can Ariel activate the ability on their Dauthi Voidwalker if there are no cards in exile with void counters on them? Yes, so with Dauthi Voidwalker, it doesn't target. When it says choose the exile card an opponent owns with a void counter on it, you do that as part of the resolution. Tapping it and sacrificing it is all you have to do when you pay the cost. Now, I learned the hard way in a tournament, in the CEDH tournament. Dauthi says an opponent owns. I made the sickest play, or what I thought in my mind was the sickest play. I went gamble for a Murderous Red Cap, which was my combo piece, and I discarded it into my opponent's Dauthi Voidwalker. Then I destroyed their Dauthi Voidwalker, and I ate the Dauthi Voidwalker with Agatha's Soul Cauldron. I then get Agatha's Soul Cauldron ability. I put a 1/1 counter on Celeste Rune Knight. So Celeste Rune Knight had Dauthi Voidwalker's activated ability from my opponent's graveyard. I had therefore a Murderous Red Cap in exile with a void counter on it. But since I owned the Murderous Red Cap, I could not cast it with the Dauthi Voidwalker because I controlled Dauthi Voidwalker's ability. So yes, you can do it. The choice of card is made on resolution of the ability, so it is not required that a legal choice is made in order to activate it. Excuse me. Dauthi Voidwalker's activated ability requires none of these card choices to be made in order to activate it, so Ariel is free to do so even if there are no cards with void counters in exile. Made during the resolution. We got it right. Sorry for story time. We're back to this. Quickly activates Inkmoth Nexus, equips Colossus Hammer to it, then activates Inkmoth Nexus again. This is I think this is a timestamp question, but I actually don't know the answer to this. I think an end of turn effect takes precedence. I actually don't know this. It's an 11/11 with flying and infect. Okay. The gaining and losing flying effects are applied in timestamp order, so my gut was correct. All right. Got a little congestion. Don't mind my secret weapon. Another question. Ainsley exiles Indatha Triumph with Galvanic Relay. Can they cycle Indatha? No. Cycling is an ability of a card while it's in your hand. Aiden casts Court of Calling, and in response, Nancy casts Hollowed Moonlight. Aiden attempts to put Grist onto the battlefield. Will it be exiled? Ooh, this is an interesting question. Okay, so we're going back to rule 614. I'm glad I wrote that down earlier. Grist is a creature everywhere other than the battlefield. So Grist, the creature, is going to try to enter the battlefield. However, it's going to look ahead to the way that the entering of the battlefield has been modified, and the Hollow Moonlight is going to think that Grist is a creature entering. Ooh, okay, so Hollow Moonlight does look ahead, okay? But because the characteristics, I see. Okay, so Grist's static ability is a characteristic changing effect. All right, we got another one wrong. You know, we can't get them all right. We could only get 95% of them right. Nathalia casts Murderous Cut, targeting Andy's Dryad Arbor. Andy uses Untimely Malfunction to change the target to Andy's Dusk Rose Reliquary. Will its ward ability trigger? Yes. Because it's being targeted. Ward triggers whenever the permanent with the ability becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls. This is an interesting point, though. Because I believe if I were to... Nathalia cast Murderous Cut, targeting Andy's Dryad Arbor. And changing the target of a target spell is indeed targeted. Another one. Ariel casts Murktide Regent, exiling 5 instants. In response, Nicole casts Dress Down. Ooh, this is a tricky one. Creatures lose all abilities. So we have 2 things modifying... No, we don't have 2 things modifying the entrance. The question is, would Murktide see ahead? My gut is telling me that Murktide would be a 3/3. And Dress Down would draw a card. So I think it enters with 0. Either enters with 0 or 5, but I think we all know that. 0. Okay. When determining how to apply it, its characteristics are checked as it would exist on the battlefield. Let me reread that. When determining how to apply Murktide Regent's replacement effect, its characteristics are checked as it would exist on the battlefield. All right, we love you, Mario Kart, but that was a little distracting. So it does look ahead indeed. Kahira. If Alex is going first, they'd like to reveal Kahira as their companion. If they're going second, they don't want to have a companion. Can they do this? Well, in a registered event, I think you have to show up with your deck list already set, correct? Greetings to anyone just joining us. I'm having a blast right now. We're going to go for about 45 more minutes. Then I have to call my parents. Isn't that cute? Yeah, so I don't think you can decline to, because if we're at like a standard event, you have to register your deck list, right? Starting player is determined before Alex would need to reveal it. That makes a lot more sense too. That makes, okay. Companion is one I don't see much because I'm a commander player. You know, I'm a little cedh player. Wow. That's pretty cool. So you can decline that. But then my question is about open deck lists in a organized play context. Because I think you could call a judge on someone who has seemingly changed their deck list preemptively. But I'm less familiar with that kind of organized play. That isn't my usual bullshit cedh. All right, Unlicensed Hearse. Alfonso's Unlicensed Hearse has exile 5 cards, and they activate its crew ability. After that resolves, Alfonso casts Dress Down. What does it look like? So Unlicensed Hearse has a conditional, it has a characteristic defining ability. That's denoted by the asterisks in it. I think it loses its characteristic defining ability. Yep. That is. All right, my homework is layers. My homework is layers. If anyone in chat has a recommendation on how to learn layers quickly, let me know. It's my call to action. All right, another question. All right. We've run out of questions. We've done all 6,000. Hello. Holy shit, I just learned this. Oh my god. Oh, there's the tournament relevant button. Is this website down? What's going on? Nancy casts the Wandering Emperor. Also then plays Teferi Time Raveler. After resolves, can Nancy activate the Wandering Emperor's abilities? Yes, because Teferi's static ability only affects casting spells, not activating loyalty abilities. Anne controls a Dromoka Monument. Nico controls a Collector Oof. Can Anne tap Dromoka Monument for mana? No, and this is the bane of my existence as a Rakdos player. So if you ever play against me IRL, play a Collector Oof, and I will cry. You'll get tears out of me in public. Yep, it's an activated ability. Azariah controls Nightshade Peddler, paired with an Inkmoth Nexus that's currently a creature. At the end of turn, when Inkmoth Nexus stops being a creature, does it remain paired with Nightshade Peddler? So this is something I do not know. The question is Soulbond contingent on both of them being a creature? However, this would imply, by just reading the Soulbond rules, that they would stay paired. But this is a question of, can Soulbond apply to a non-creature permanent? Which is already making me ask questions about Deadeye Navigator. No, paired creatures only remain paired as long as they are both creatures. So I talked around it. I didn't know the answer, I'll admit that. In two-headed giant game, how much life does each team begin with? I don't fucking know. I don't fucking know. In two-headed giant? Yeah, I just don't know the format. I'm gonna guess 25. 30, okay. Oh, it's Hearthstone. Nice. Oh, I just lost that. I don't know anything about two-headed giant, and I don't feel the need to on this stream right now. Ariel controls Opalescence and Asakashima the Imposter. Oh, I have to send the stream to one more friend. My, like, actual most rules lawyer friend. Okay. Ariel controls Opalescence and Asakashima the Imposter, entering the battlefield as a copy of Psychic Battle. How are you doing this? Each other global enchantment is a creature with power and toughness, each equal to its converted mana cost. So Psychic Battle is from the year 2000. Is Psychic Battle a global enchantment? Is Concordant Crossroads Rifle? It is a world enchantment. We have to look up Psychic Battle on Scryfall. This is not a world enchantment. Opalescence. Scryfall. Each other non-aura enchantment is a creature in addition to its other types, has base power and toughness each equal to its mana value. Okay, so global enchantment just means non-aura. So we had to look up Opalescence and Psychic Battle. So if you control Opalescence and a Sakashima that entered the battlefield as a copy of Psychic Battle. Ariel casts Prophetic Bolt targeting Nora. What happens? Whenever a player chooses one or more cards, whenever a player chooses one or more targets, each player reveals the top card of their library. The player who reveals the card with the highest CMC may change the target. If two or more cards are tied, the target or targets remain unchanged. Okay. So I believe you're just going to reveal the top card of your library twice. So it happens. So Prophetic Bolt goes on the stack. Trigger Psychic Battle. They clash. Oh, I'm sorry. Trigger Psychic Battle. Trigger Psychic Battle. It comes into play as a copy of that creature, except its name is still Sakashima. So my second question is Sakashima the Imposter now a 5/5 Psychic Battle, like 5/5, like Psychic Battle is? Anyways, I believe this is just, it's going to trigger Psychic Battle twice, and they're going to resolve independently of each other. However, if you had like a Sensei's Divining Top, you could like rig it in between each trigger. Each time targets are changed when the trigger resolves, Sakashima the Imposter will trigger again. The cycle will continue until targets aren't changed. Oh, I see. I see the deeper question here. Okay. So Psychic Battle happens to trigger itself. And when I say itself, I mean it triggers the other Psychic Battle, right? That's funny. That's really funny. Yeah, and you know what I don't know anything about? The shortcut rules. Alright. Aspen casts Sky Shroud Claim and puts Dryad Arbor onto the battlefield. Nala controls uphill battle. Does the Dryad Arbor enter the battlefield tapped? Yes. It is a creature. Oh, it's putting onto the battlefield. Oh, I misread uphill battle. This is on me. When it says creatures your opponents play, not when they enter the battlefield. All right. We missed our second question. No, I'm kidding. Angelica controls a hostage taker that has exiled Venerated Loxodon as well as 5 Shadowborn Apostles. Can Angelica tap their 5 Shadowborn Apostles to convoke Venerated Loxodon? Angelica controls a hostage taker. It has exile. So we're trying to cast Venerated Loxodon from exile, and we're trying to convoke it using 5 Shadowborn Apostles. So you're going to have to pay 1 white mana, and then you can convoke it using your 4 others. Convoke is a static ability that functions when it is on the stack. Doesn't matter where it came from to go onto the stack. Convoke allows Angelico to tap white creatures to pay the white portion of it, and any color of creature to pay the generic. So you can tap 4 of them. Hostage Taker allows Angelico to... Oh my god, I didn't read the Hostage Taker. Wait. Okay. You may cast that card as long as it remains exile, and mana of any type can be spent to cast it. I think the mana... No, you cannot use Shadowborn to pay the white part. Okay. You can say that I was cheating, and I do not care. But I was not. Hostage Taker allows Angelica to use mana as those mana of any color towards Venerated Loxodon. However, this doesn't change its actual mana cost, nor does it affect how Convoke works. Aspen controls Arcane Laboratory. Each player can't play more than 1 spell each turn. Can't always wins, all right? They want to suspend Plunder and then cast Brainstorm. Yes. Suspending a spell is a special action. Brainstorm is casting a spell. Is it a special action? Let me see if this rule says it. It's a static ability that functions while the card is in hand. I think it's a special action. Aspen casts Covetous Urge and chooses the Bramble Familiar in Nico's hand. Can Aspen cast the Adventure Hat? Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from that player's graveyard or hand and exile it. Yes, we're exiling the Bramble Familiar. You may cast that card for as long as it remains exiled, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast it. So you can cast the Adventure Hat. My question is, when this is exiled with Adventure, whose control is it under? Is it under the owner or the controller's control? If they do, then the spell will be exiled as it resolves, and only Aspen will have the permission to cast it. The controller of the Adventure exiles 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 it. All right, we have that in our brain now. We have that brain word. The controller of the Adventure exiles it. Aiden controls a 0/1 red elemental creature token with, at the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice this creature and return target card named Rekindling Phoenix from your graveyard to your hand. All right. Aiden controls a 0/1 red elemental creature token with, at the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice this creature and return target card named Rekindling Phoenix from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste until end of turn and has a Rekindling Phoenix in their graveyard. During Aiden's upkeep, with the token's trigger on the stack, Nico casts Surgical Extraction, targeting Rekindling Phoenix, and chooses to exile it as Surgical Extraction resolves. What happens when the elemental token's trigger resolves? Okay. So The Phoenix has died, putting its little buddy onto the battlefield. Its little buddies on the battlefield. Sacrifice this creature and return target card named Rekindling Phoenix to the battlefield. So as part of this going on the stack, you have to target the Rekindling Phoenix with it. In response to the target, Surgical Extraction will remove the Rekindling Phoenix that was targeted. And furthermore, you're going to look at their hand, you're going to look at their graveyard, you're going to look at their library, and exile, excuse me, not exile, and exile all of them. So it's going to lose its target, but however, the 0/1 red elemental, is it going to lose its target though? So it can't sacrifice? I think it doesn't sacrifice. I think it loses target. The token's trigger will be removed from the stack because its target is illegal. The token is not sacrificed. So yeah, I was correct. Like usual. Ooh, we got a crazy one. We got a crazy one. Everyone hold your breath. Deal controls Mycosynth Lattice, a Dance of the Dead attached to an apprentice wizard that are returned to the battlefield in a Mizzium Trans Reliquit that is currently a copy of Copy Artifact due to its second ability. So it is a copy of Copy Artifact. It says it's a copy of Copy Artifact. What is Copy Artifact a copy of? Or is Copy Artifact just Copy Artifact right now? Abdiel casts Clever Impersonator, choosing to copy the Mizzium Trans Reliquit as it enters. So, the question is, does this ability apply to the Clever Impersonator? It has that ability, but is that ability a copyable value? I do not believe that copyability. I do not believe that having this ability, gaining this ability, is a copyable value. So I think they just get a copy artifact. Oh my god, this one's a little dense for me, okay? You cast Clever Impersonator, choosing to copy the Mizzium Trans Reliquit, then choosing to copy the Dance of the Dead with its new copy ability. They choose to copy the Dance of the Dead with its new copy ability as it enters the battlefield. Oh, fuck are we doing here? All right, so I'm trying to like figure out what the objective of this is. So everything is an artifact. Yeah, okay, so Clever Impersonator is basically just a Mizzium Trans Reliquit. And then they want to copy the Dance of the Dead with its new copy ability as it enters. They choose to enchant Expedition Envoy in their graveyard. After Clever Impersonator's trigger resolves and returns the Expedition Envoy to the battlefield, Abdiel activates the ability of Clever Impersonator to turn it into a copy of Apprentice Wizard. So the question is, we're making our Clever Impersonator into an aura, and then we're making the aura into an Apprentice Wizard. So the aura is going to become a creature and it's going to fall off. Expedition Envoy is going to go back to the graveyard. This can't happen as described when Abdel applies Clever Impersonator's copy effect from copy artifact to copy Dance of the Dead. It doesn't copy its activated abilities to become a copy of target artifact. Okay, so this was another trick question. I didn't necessarily get it right, but I talked through every rule surrounding it, so I feel pretty good about that. I hate these that the answer is this can't happen as described. I mean, I understand that's probably what comes up a lot, but Nevea has 8 poison counters and controls a Lich's Mirror. Acts and attacks with a Blight Widow. If you will lose the game, instead shuffle your hand, your graveyard, and all permanents you own into your library, then draw 7 cards, and your life total becomes 20. I got bad news for you. You still have 10 infect counters on you. So what's going to happen is, this replacement effect's going to happen. If you will lose the game, we're going to shuffle our hand and graveyard and all permanents we own into our library. We're going to draw 7 cards. Our life total is going to become 20. And then we lose to state-based actions based on the number of poison counters we have. Deal 2 damage, gains 2 poison counters. State-based actions are checked. Nevia will lose the game. But instead, they shuffle their hand in. Then Nevia has still 10 poison counters, so they lose. That is a pretty funny one, I'm not gonna lie. Alex, oh, by the way, I wanted to mention with this one also, this is how commander damage works too. You lose the game to state-based actions. All right, now we have a Tarmogoyf question. I love Tarmogoyf question. All right, I got this one last night. Alex casts Tarmogoyf with a land, sorcery, and creature in their graveyard. Can Naomi counter it with Stern Scolding? Tarmogoyf has a condition defining characteristic defining ability, which is denoted by those asterisks. Okay, so on the stack, Tarmogoyf's power is 2 and its toughness is 3 because there are 3 types in the graveyard. This is not the question I got yesterday. There's a land, sorcery, and creature in their graveyard. So Tarmogoyf is a 3/4. It is an illegal target for Stern Scolding. It says its power on the stack is 3, but notably, Stern Scolding is very flexible. It says counter target creature spell with power or toughness 2 or less. So if this wanted to be more precise, it would say Tarmogoyf's power is 2 and its toughness is 4. So that's like the win more answer, I guess. Autumn controls Ulamog, which has been mutated with Boneyard Lurker. Ulamog, the Infinite Gyre, dies. Will Boneyard Lurker also be shuffled into their deck? Yes, they stick all abilities together. I'm a little curious, which one did you put on top? Did you want your 10/10 or a 4/4? Irrelevant question. Yes, it gets shuffled in. One thing that's cool about mutate, if you mutate 2 cards together, it is now a single object again, okay? when we say single object, that's kind of like when a card refers to itself in the third person. That's like saying when a creature says, this creature does whatever. It's like one thing. It's one object. Now, chat, is it Gyre or Gyre? How do you pronounce this? Gyre or Gyre? I don't fucking know. Archer. Archer, okay. Archer controls a liquid metal torque and wild evocation. Hang on. All right, we already had Spy by Mr. Magical, but what is it going to do? Stop being a banger? Archer controls a liquid metal torque and wild evocation, whose trigger reveals redeem. Mia controls lodestone golem. What will happen as the trigger resolves? At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player reveals a card at random from their hand. If it's a land, that player puts it onto the battlefield. Otherwise, the player casts it without paying its mana cost if able. You do not have to do that. You do not have to cast it. You are not able, nothing will force you to pay an additional cost. You can choose not to pay the additional cost on Lodestone Golem, and then thus not be able to cast the spell. Casting a spell without paying its mana cost is an alternative cost. The additional cost from Lodestone will still apply to it. Archer is required to cast it, but if they're unable to pay the cost, it remains in the previous zone. Archer is not required to tap the liquid metal torque for mana. AKA, I was right. Because you just basically fail to pay the costs. Alex and Anson, I don't know anything about Two-Headed Giant. Alexander controls Panharmonicon and a Mycosynth Lattice. It has Blanchwood Treefolk and Viashino Warrior in their graveyard. They cast Dance of the Dead, targeting that. So, Dance of the Dead is going to trigger twice. When Dance of the Dead comes into play, if it's in play, it loses enchant creature in a graveyard and gains enchant creature put into play with Dance of the Dead. Return enchanted creature to play tapped under your control and attach Dance of the Dead to it. When Dance of the Dead leaves play, that creature's controller sacrifices it. Let me read the errata. Greetings to anyone just joining us. Hope you're having a lovely Saturday. I'm having a blast with this, actually. A nice, simple stream, you know? Checking one thing on my creator dashboard. All right, Dance of the Dead. When this creature enters, if it's on the battlefield. Okay, so this is the errata text. When this aura leaves the battlefield, that creature's controller sacks it. So Dance of the Dead is not going to be leaving the battlefield. However, what it's going to do, it's going to try to enchant either two things or enchant the same thing twice. Enchanted. So it's going to lose enchant creature card in a graveyard twice. And then, okay. So we're gonna step through this. When it enters the battlefield, this is gonna trigger twice. We're gonna resolve it the first time. If it's in play, it loses this and gains this. Return enchanted creature card to play tapped under your control and attach Dance of the Dead to it. When Dance of the Dead leaves play, that creature's controller sacrifices it. Now, it has lost enchant creature in a graveyard. That's okay though, because it will regain enchant creature put into play with Dance of the Dead. So it gains that again. Do you return both? Ah, okay, so my gut was sort of correct. Dance of the Dead still has a target as you cast it. Right, because Dance of the Dead is an aura. That makes a lot of sense. So it indeed tries to put the same creature on the battlefield twice. God, this song's a banger. Amiya controls a Guy's Liege and 3 Savannas. Whoa, big pockets, big pocketbook. Am I right or am I right? Holy. All right. Guy's Liege, power and toughness are equal to the number of forests you control. As long as that's attacking, its power and toughness are each equal to the number of forests defending players controls instead, okay? So you can attack with it. When we're talking about permissions to attack, excuse me, let me refill my water. I'll be right back. All right. As I was saying, Guy's Liege. Okay, let's say this from the perspective of Amiya, okay? Amiya's Guy's Liege is a 3/3. Okay? By the way, this is another characteristic defining ability. It is a 3/3. So I move to combat. The declare attacker's phase is denoted by turning things sideways. So when Guy's Liege attacks, it is a 3/3 and it can attack. So when it says can't attack, it's saying in the declare attacker's phase, these creatures cannot attack. Okay. Nelson has 1 Savannah. So once we turn Guy's Liege sideways, it is an attacking creature, but it is a 1/1. Thus, we've gotten around Reverie. Yes, checking to see if any restrictions affect a potentially attacking creature is done before the creature becomes an attacking creature. Autumn controls Afara, then casts Opalescence. Their devotion to white is 2. I believe this is a time-stamped interaction. And I think Afara would be a creature. Afara is a creature with power and toughness equal to its mana value. And it's a layers thing. In the type layer, there are 2 effects that impact it. They're applied in timestamp order. The first Afara, God of the Polis's effect causes Afara to not be a creature. Then Opalescence's ability causes Afara to become a creature. Let me just read that the other line too. In the power toughness setting layer, Opalescence's effect sets it equal to its mana value. So it is timestamp. Oh my god, it's this again. No, 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 no. No, it's the same question too, but it's Animate Dead this time. Oh my god, it's not Dance of the Dead. Why the fuck are we doing this? All right, Alex controls it. Alex is the ringleader of the bullshit, okay? Alex, we know what you're trying to do here. This goes right to bad MTG combos on Reddit. Alex controls Mycosynth Lattice and Animate Dead attached to a Nessian Courser. That returned it to the battlefield. A Mizium Transreliquate that copied Sakashima with its second ability. And a Balduvian Bears enchanted with a Mystic Restraint. Alex casts Copy Artifact, choosing to copy the Mizium, which is a Sakashima. This is the Sakashima with the legendary rule. Does that matter? Alex casts Copy Artifact, choosing to copy the Mizium Transreliquate, then choosing to copy the Animate Dead with its new copy ability as it enters the battlefield. As it enters the battlefield. After Copy Artifact's trigger resolves and returns Street Breaker Worm to the battlefield, Alex activates the ability of Copy Artifact to turn it into a copy of Mystic Restraints. After that resolves, they cast Aura Finesse and attach it to the Bears. When Animate Dead leaves the battlefield. So Animate Dead is referring exactly to its own name, even if the card name changes by becoming something else. So it's not leaving the battlefield. However, it is an aura. What if this aura becomes unattached? Gains enchant creature put onto the battlefield with Animate Dead. Return it to the battlefield under its control and attach it to it. When Animate Dead leaves the battlefield, that creature sacrifices it. So Animate Dead is not leaving the battlefield. This is a confusing one, to put it mildly. After that resolves, they cast Aura Finesse and attach it to the Bears. I think you just get all of it. We'll find out. It can happen. It's another fucking trick question, you son of a bitch. Oh my god. I'm sorry, this question is just pure word gore. That's fucking word gore. Zero. You get a free mull, even in duel. Oh, only in multiplayer games? Brawl would like to have a word with you. But I guess Dual Commander is not Brawl. Which is maybe the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard. Well, Amelie attacks with Wildfire Elemental, which is not blocked. As the trigger resolves, can they choose to suspend? No, you may not. Suspend is a special action. Now, you could suspend it at that time if you had a Vidalcan Orrery or, I don't know, High Faith Trickster, Leyline of Anticipation, because you could give Flash to your Ancestral Vision, but in terms of using the Wildfire Eternals, you may not do that. So you cannot choose to suspend it. However, you could just cast Ancestral Vision, which is 8 times better anyways. Wow, okay. There we go, we do it again. The suspend special action can be taken. So I was partly correct on the Vidalcan Orrery thing. But that is something I just learned, okay? Without paying its mana cost. Yeah, you still have to pay the suspend cost though. And afterwards, they can choose to cast a different spell from hand. Whoa! That is a today I learned. Damn, you get to have your cake and eat it too. That's some crazy shit. Avery casts Fiery Confluence, choosing the first mode twice, targeting Avery's Alpha Mirror with the third mode. In response, Noah sacks their Herbal Poultice to regenerate it. So the first mode goes off, killing it. The replacement effect of Regenerate puts it tapped. The second mode goes off and kills it. Then the last one loses target, but the damage has already been dealt. Okay, so no. It's carried out in the order they're written. First it does 2 damage to the mirror. So when we're choosing the same mode twice... Ah, I see. Does it do 2 damage one time to the Alpha Mirror? I guess that's how that works. I thought it would be still sequential, like it deals 1 damage and then deals 1 damage and then destroys. All right, so I need to watch out for these because they are more dies to state-based actions. I've been missing these. Amelia casts Primal Command with both modes targeting Nico. Will they be able to copy it with Radiate? Amelia casts Primal Command with both modes targeting Nico. Choose target instant or sorcery spell. The target's only a single permanent or player. That is true. It only targets a single permanent or player. So then it would copy with those two modes. So yes. And for other reference, this is how this is why Zevlor is such a sick commander. Zevlor plays around with this a lot. You can play a lot of modal cards that only target one thing. Even if it has multiple modes that do different things. So in this case, you could do target player, but then you could also choose the second mode. Search your library for a creature, reveal it, put it into your hand. So with Zevlor, you could target player and choose the second mode and then copy this one. All right, they started playing a multiplayer game. Catalea lost the game, and then Alejandro restarted the game with Karn Liberated. I believe so. No, only the players in the game when it restarted will be in the restarted game. All right. I feel like today we've also learned more about Karn Liberated than I've ever wanted to know about in my entire life. You get what I mean? I don't know how badly I want to know about this card. I hope to never see this fucker in Commander. Yo, actually, I got a little story. One of my friends, I don't think he watches this stream, but I hope he sees this one day. He cooks harder than almost anyone else. And we were playing some Commander. We got to last game of the night. I was playing some Rakdos Pile. I think I was playing Typical Cosmic Imposter. Karn Liberated picks up targeting me. I gave them Obnixilis, the Planeswalker that pings on card draw. Okay. And then as the clock hits 11:50 and the venue closed at midnight, he ulted this motherfucker. He restarted the game at midnight. And then we zoomed through it. He won the game, blah, blah, blah. But that was probably the funniest thing I've ever seen with this card. Another one. Mana Confluence, Angel's Grace. Aspen is at 1 life, controls Mana Confluence, and has Angel's Grace in their hand. Can they tap it for white, use that white to cast Angel's Grace, and not lose the game? No. Because you have to pay before Angel's Grace goes on the stack. And then Angel's Grace actually needs to resolve off the stack for your life total. Wait, it says damage anyways. You're paying life. So yeah, you're dead. Sorry, bud. I always forget that Angel's Grace is damage until I read it for the second time. Aubrey casts Plax Manta. Afterwards, they cast Erazka Frillback. Will Erazka Frillback gain Shroud until end of turn? When it enters the battlefield, creatures you control gain Shroud until end of turn. No. When it says creatures you control, it's referring to creatures that are on the battlefield. It would have to say something like creatures you control and creatures you control that enter the battlefield this turn. Addison and Nico are starting a 2-player game. Addison decides to keep their hand a 7. No. Presumably Addison is going to. Ariel controls Bubble Matrix and Agar the Freezing Flame. Noemi controls Toralf, God of Fury. Ariel casts Ultimate Magic Meteor. What happened? Ooh, this is the perfect music. All right, we're wrapping up. I will do 5 in rapid succession. Ariel controls Bubble Matrix and Agar. Whenever a creature or planeswalker an opponent controls is dealt excess damage, If a wizard, giant wizard, or spell you control dealt damage to it this turn, draw a card. All right. Ultimate Magic Meteor does 7 damage to each creature. If the spell was cast from exile, I believe it's going to. Ultimate Magic Mirror is going to do 7 damage to them. I think it reduces that amount of damage. It should do you should draw the card. No, it's not dealt damage. It's never dealt damage. There is no excess damage because there is no damage, right? We'll find out. Nothing. There is no damage. Yep. Guess the replacement effect. The static ability wins. All right. Alex controls Ishin. 2 Heavens as 1. Oh, I know a little bit about this card. I know a little bit about it. And Trin. If they attack during their turn, how many soldiers? You get 1. This is an end step trigger. That's an attack trigger. Ace activates Knight of the Reliquary and puts Dryad Arbor onto the battlefield as its ability resolves. Noah controls Uphill Battle. Uphill Battle modifies how creatures enter if you play them. In this case, you are not playing the Dryad Arbor. Ainsley controls Ledger Shredder and casts their second spell. In response to the Connive, Neymar casts Slip Out the Back, targeting Ledger Shredder. So you put the 1/1 counter on it, and then it phases out. I think the Ledger Shredder is gone at this time. It gets 1 from the Slip Out the Back, not from the Connive. Ava casts Fiery Confluence, choosing the 3rd mode 3 times, targeting Ava's Wicker Witch all 3 times. In response, Nicholas sacrifices their Terran Ghost to activate its ability, not another regen. All right, now this one I think is destroyed, because I think the Regenerate's gonna affect it 1 time. Oh wait, no, I don't even think you can target it with this 3rd mode all 3 times, can you? A single mode is multiple times. Yeah, they're carried out sequentially. Wait, so the other answer was wrong. The individual instances are carried out sequentially. So that in that one example, 1 damage is marked on it, then the Regenerate is a replacement effect. So I think there was 1 incorrect question on here, because it said Fiery Confluence would deal that 2 damage by choosing the same mode more than once, but it would have sequentially done 1 damage, killing the mirror in that other example. The replacement effect returns the mirror tapped, or whatever the fuck that says, and then the 1 damage again would have 1 damage marked on it, and then the destroy would have gone on. So I'm not sure what the other question was. However, in that other question, it would not have died to a state-based action, would have died to the destroy, but it would have died also having 1 damage marked on it. Anderson attacks with Stoneforge Mystic. This is the last one, I think. Attacks with the Stoneforge Mystic that's equipped with Colossus Hammer. Nala blocks with Blazethorn. So the Stoneforge has Colossus Hammer. Nala blocks with Blazethorn Scarecrow. So we have 3 damage marked on the Stoneforge Mystic. Yes, it will die. All right. And with that, thank you for joining me on this pretty short stream today. I had a great time. That was 100% rules questions. I would say I got 80% of them right. And 80% is not good enough. So we're going to keep doing this. This might be a daily thing, actually. This is kind of fun. All right. Have a lovely day. Have a great morning, afternoon, or night.